I am very much a creature of routine. My alarm sounds each morning at 4:53. I feed the cats, then I lace up my shoes and I go for a run. I love the smell of morning and starting the day with a sense of accomplishment. It's along those same lines that I return to Zion National Park each fall. The routine is similar, but this morning, my alarm was set for 2:45. Much like my morning routine at home, I find comfort in Zion's towering sandstone cliffs, its delicate, colorful maples, and its wise old cottonwoods with their leaves that quiver in the slightest of a breeze. In many ways, driving to Zion feels a bit like heading home. This year's trip marks my 11th consecutive year visiting Zion, and despite having spent so much time in this very special place, there's still so much that I've yet to see. In the months leading up to this trip, I've spent countless hours studying satellite imagery, and I created a list of specific places I'd love to explore on foot, including obscure side canyons and rolling hills of slick rock tucked away from view. Along with my list of new locations to explore, I have a different strategy for the main canyon. The shuttle system is great for most people, but with my large backpack, I've become somewhat of a burden to other passengers. This year, I'm bringing a bicycle along with a small trailer for my backpack. This will allow me to access the main canyon on my own schedule, and without having to take up 2 seats on the crowded shuttles. On last year's trip, my friend Ellen Brock flew a Cessna all the way to Zion, and on the final day of the trip, took myself and 2 other photographers for an aerial tour of the park. This was an amazing experience, but let's be honest, it hardly compares to bringing the bicycle I got for Christmas when I was in the 6th grade. Maybe if Alan's lucky, I'll give him a ride on the handlebars to repay him for last year's aerial tour. Despite the large crowds in Zion, it's still easy enough to get off the beaten path and to find a place all to yourself. All you have to do is walk beyond the farthest footprints. Last year's trip resulted in several photos I'm very happy with, but I feel deep down I didn't make the best of the conditions. That's one of the things I hope to improve on this year, and perhaps exploring some new areas will provide the inspiration I need to find some subjects that really speak to me. These trips are a perfect balance of patience, planning, and luck. Though we may stumble from time to time, each and every footstep leads us to the place where we're meant to stand. This is a story of my fall of 2019 visit to Zion National Park. So it's a little after 2 p.m. and I went ahead and set up my camp and just came over to explore a little bit. So I think that's one of the really important parts of landscape photography, just being a really good witness to everything around you. And I'm over at some of the higher elevation areas right now, and there are some maples that already are at peak color. There's some that are kind of on the way. And just by spending some time slowing down, wandering around a little bit, I already found a few things I think that might make for a pretty decent shot. This involves some really, really calm wind. But I'm gonna spend some time looking around, see what I can find, but it's just so nice and calm here. The weather is basically perfect right now. It's a little on the warm side out in the sun, but once you get down in the shade here, it's pretty nice. But I'm so excited to be here. Really looking forward to seeing what I can find this year. So as I was wandering around, I came across a scene I think that might make for potentially a decent photo. Slightly experimental, but
It's a low-growing maple branch with some rocks underneath it. So back to my truck, got my 8x10. I'm heading over there right now to see if I can find a composition on it. Be really cool if I could. So this is the scene that I found. It's just low-growing maple, and it's got these like little red kind of rusty spots on the leaves. And there's a good variety of color, tiny little bit of green in there, little bits of yellow, some sort of orangey, pinkish sort of tones. And it's set against some very neutral rocks here, which I know will go slightly cool on the film. And the branches match the rocks in the background, so I think that might give it enough color contrast, because warm colors tend to kind of come forward in a photo, and cool colors kind of retreat a little bit. So it might give it a little bit of a sense of depth here. The only tricky thing is that there's no way I can get both the leaves in focus as well as the rocks. So I have my plane of focus kind of skimming over the leaves there to try to get as many of them in focus as possible. I'm shooting at f/45. You'll be able to see that there's rocks in the background, but I'm just not going to be able to get them all that sharp. And I honestly don't know if that's going to be a distraction or if that will help to simplify the photo. There's only one way to try, which is photograph it and see how it turns out. So let's go ahead and expose some film while the wind is still nice and calm. All right, 15 seconds, f/45. Awesome. No wind. No clue if it'll turn out, but conditions are great. Not bad for day one. Well, I'm glad I was able to expose a couple sheets of film on that scene. And I really don't know what to expect on it. Sometimes scenes like that look really cut off, just because the branches is sort of hovering over the background and not really interacting with it. But I will say that it does feel really nice to expose my first sheets of film on this trip. As soon as I cross that barrier, it's kind of nice. So I'm gonna keep wandering around here, see if anything else catches my eye here. A bunch of ants there on the ground there. But still got a few hours or so until sunset. I love this place.
The photos I shot that evening were properly exposed, but unfortunately, they fall short of what I had envisioned. One of them suffered from wind blur, and the other was somehow focused between the leaves and the rocks. I'm not sure how that happened, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Despite not turning out, these photos serve an important purpose. They represent mere footsteps along a path that led to some work I truly am satisfied with. Thanks as always for watching. I look forward to sharing the rest of my trip. If you enjoy this ad-free and clickbait-free content and want to help me live my dream, a voluntary contribution of just $24 a year helps keep my gas tank full and my film freezer stocked. For more information on how to support me and my work, please visit the donation section of my website at benhorne.com/donate. I also have prints and my portfolio box set available on my website. You can find a direct link down below in the show notes. Thanks in advance for your support.